Hi everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Good evening, mostly. My name is Sharang Thaimade, and I represent Seed Global Education. And we've gathered here today to learn a little more about SP Jain School of Global Management. Apart from it being a wonderful university, which has campuses in Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, Mumbai, and now London as well, it also happens to be my alma mater. And we'll be hearing from Dr. Bala Krishna Gandhi, who is the Dean of both the Masters in Global Business Programs and the Global MBA programs. Before we move on to the introductions and about this session, I'd like to just learn in the chat box which city you are joining in from. If you can use the chat and let us know. We're already 110 of us in this Zoom meeting. Please tell us which city you are joining in from so that we can go ahead and see and start off with some of the interactions. We've got folks from Pune, Mumbai, Kolkata, Mumbai, Pune. Okay, a lot of people from Mumbai and Pune. We've got folks here from New Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Durgapur, different parts of the country, the length and breadth of the country. We've got Pankit Hills joining us from Ahmedabad, Durgapur again, Assam, Delhi, and different places. Kota, Rohit has joined us from Kota as well. Wonderful. Please let it keep coming in. Please tell us where you are joining us from. We've got around 130 of us in the chat already. We are here to learn a little more about SP Jain School of Global Management. As I was saying, SP Jain School of Global Management has campuses across Dubai, Mumbai, Singapore, and Sydney. Now, in this session today, we'll learn a little more about the two programs that we are all interested to know about. One is the Global MBA, which is for candidates with some bit of experience, some bit of work experience after graduation, and the other program is the Masters of Global Business, which is for recent graduates. So if you have completed or if you are just about to complete your undergraduation, the Masters of Global Business could be the program for you. We'll also learn about some of the student success and career opportunities offered by SP Jain. We'll talk about some of the distinguished alumni. We'll learn about the overall experience during the program. I'll be happy to share some of my insights as well. We'll also talk about the rankings of the school. We'll also learn about the campuses and the locations because that's what makes SP Jain the way it is. And we didn't learn it just from me. We learn it from the Dean of the Global MBA and the Masters of Global Business. He's also a professor of marketing and strategy. He was my professor of marketing and strategy as well. I'm going to add Dr. Grandi to Spotlight. We're already 150 of us in this chat. With over 40 years of experience in academics and industry, Dr. Grandi brings a wealth of knowledge from his work as a teacher, consultant, entrepreneur, and researcher across several countries. He's been passionate about equipping students with their skills and capabilities needed to thrive in today's complex business environment, and he has done that extremely successfully as a professor of marketing for me during my time at SP Jain as well. I'm also added Mr. Mandar. He is the director of admissions at SP Jain School of Global Management. He will take us through the overall admission process. He's been in the system for the last best part of the decade as well. And with SPGen specifically for the last 6 to 7 years, he's seen many students like you come, go, and become successful businessmen, entrepreneurs, not just in here in India, but also in the Middle East, in Singapore, and in different parts of the world. So, thank you so much for everyone who's joined us. We are about 168 of us already here, but enough of me. We'll now hear from our guests, and I'd like to open this opportunity for the dean of the school of SPGen School of Global Management to take us through some of his Meet the Dean talking points, and we'll take it from there. Dr. Grandi, over to you.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you, Mandar, for making this event possible. When I see you, Sharon, I feel really proud. You're one of the finest brand ambassadors You have done the program well. You have come out with flying colors, and you're really making a difference in the world out there. And keep it going. And what I would like to do is share a few slides to talk about our program, set the context as to how the program is going to add value, and a little structure of our program, and open it up for Q&A. Before I go any further, in the chat, can you, the participants, indicate whether you're looking for global MBA? The minimum experience for that is, 2 years. If it is more than 3 years, you don't need to do an internship. But if it is just 2 years, you need to do an internship, and you'll be eligible for a global MBA. And there's also an MGB program for freshers. So I have two questions. You can respond in the chat. Which program are you looking for, global MBA or the MGB? And specifically, what is it that you want to know? Okay. What aspect of the program or SPGN you want to know? And Sharad, you do keep track of queries that they wish answered. I will go through my deck, and if there's something that I have not addressed, I'll be happy to, respond.
Certainly. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let me try sharing my video. It doesn't let me share the sound here, Sharon.
Just checking, Dr. Gandhi.
You may have to make me the host for this.
Okay. I've done that.
Unfortunately, it doesn't. We'll just take one more shot. If it works, fine.
Dr. Gandhi, we're waiting for you to screen share. If you can screen share and then try that.
No. I have to share the sound also. Just the sharing will be only visuals and no audio.
Dr. Gandhi, if you start the screen share, the audio would also get shared. It would happen together.
Okay, let's try. We'll move along, and then if it works, fine. Otherwise, we'll see what needs to be done. Okay. I'll be spending a little time to talk about both the global MBA and the MGB. And one question that you may want to ask in your mind, we have all gone through the COVID-19 crisis. Has it been an opportunity? If so, have the companies been equipped or leveraged enough to make the most of the opportunity? McKinsey did quite a widespread survey of CXOs around the world, and almost all the executives agree that it has had a major impact, and they require to change their mental models. Their earlier models were not working, and there's need for innovation. So 90% believe that it would fundamentally change the business, the way they do it. And they also believe that the COVID-19 crisis will have changed, and you have seen it, will impact the customer buyer behavior big time. But when they were asked the question, do you have the expertise and the wherewithal to be able to cope with it? sadly, 80% said we don't have the expertise. This is where schools like SPJ step in, grooming your skills to be able to add value to such of these companies which are trying hard to survive and grow. And nearly two-thirds said they have not seen as a bigger challenge such as COVID-19 during their career. But now, fast forward, COVID-19 is behind us, and there are several other crises post COVID-19. You have now the Ukraine-Russia conflict in Middle East, major countries imposing sanctions on the others, US imposing sanctions on China, Iran, and other major uncertainty in the logistics front is, people are not able to move the cargo through Red Sea. The costs have gone up. The commodity prices are fluctuating, and there is, a trend towards sustainability, embracing ESG. So the macro environment continues to be turbulent. So you may ask the same questions, but at this point in time, we have no data as to what extent they really have the wherewithal to be able to cope with this continuing, turbulent, uncertain, complex environment. But one thing is very clear. I want you to pay attention to this particular chart. Look at the financial crisis, the Great Bubble, between 2008 and 2009. Only about 10% of all the companies that were interviewed have invested in innovation. Majority did not, 90% did not. And what is interesting is the 10% of the companies that have invested and have done better during crisis, in fact, have done better to the extent of 30% compared to the industry average. So, friends, the point here is everyone needs to have a growth mindset. They need to invest even when the chips are down, and you will reap the benefits. It's only a matter of time. You'll perform better than the others. I've used the term growth mindset. You have, as an individual, have to have a growth mindset, and the companies need to have a growth mindset. And when you join a company, you will have to sort of ensure the team and the department of the strategic business unit as a whole also has a growth mindset. Let's try to understand what is a growth mindset.
This video, I don't think so. We can't hear the sound, sir.
So, as part of the program, you will be required to unlearn a whole lot of things, open your mind, and embrace new opportunities, new learnings, new frameworks, new concepts, and try doing things in completely a different fashion. We would like to use the program for you as a canvas, and we have case studies and multiple simulations. It's okay if you make mistakes. We want you to learn making from those mistakes so you can learn from your experiments and move forward. Let's take another example. A company as big as Amazon, which is known for its dominance online, said, hey, we cannot do business only online. Let's start getting into brick and mortar. How about opening a store, but doing it a little differently using the technology? And I want you to watch this. They have started Amazon Go, first in Seattle, Washington. That's where they have the headquarters. And I had the opportunity to visit one of them. Let's see what Amazon Go is all about. This has turned out to be a very, very successful experiment. The expenses are minimal. No staff on the shop floor, no staff checking out. And the only major investment is in the technology, computer vision. There are a whole lot of cameras all over. So they can recognize you, they can recognize what you're picking up. And by just opening the app, it all gets registered and it gets automatically paid out of your account. It's so efficient. Let me share my experience when I was there, looking around for about half an hour. There was a kid about 9 years old. He walked in. He tried to pick up a bottle of wine from the corner. There was a voice from some corner, hey, kid, you're not big enough. Put the wine bottle back. So, through facial recognition and image sensors, they can figure out, he's not an adult and he is, not eligible to pick up, liquor. Poor kid, he tried to come to help his dad. So it is not only Amazon Go that they can grow, but even the just walkout technology, which has, deep algorithms, computer vision, machine learning, all this kind of technology, they could even, sell it out as, software. So it does get to be contributing in a significant way to the top line and the bottom line. So what is every company looking at? they're looking at how do we align everything that we do to the customers that we want to serve. Who do we want to serve? Who is it we don't want to be served? What is this customer's journey in the segment that we are trying to target? Can we map the customer's journey? Meaning, what kind of anxieties and decisions do they take before buying the product or a service, while buying the product or service, and post-purchase? What are the pain points? How can we address the pain points and serve them better than the competition, and thus have a unique experience? So every company is looking at how best to digitally transform. Digital transformation doesn't happen in vacuum. I want you to look at the left and bottom. It starts with the customers. Who do you want to engage with? Train your employees, sensitize them on how they should serve them. You have to optimize your processes or operations to serve them well. And intent is not good enough. You have to go to R&D, ask them to come up with products and services that would align with the needs of the customers. And most importantly, have a team that takes ownership of a digital platform, maybe availing a cloud service, have the people who would enable the reinvention in the organization. And to be able to do this well, you need to be ambidextrous, meaning you need to have both your left brain and the right brain work. Left brain, addresses the logic, numbers, analytical thinking. That alone is not good enough. You need to also, harness the power of your right brain, creativity, intuition, and judgment. We try to, in the program, help you, leverage both the left and the right brain and become totally ambidextrous, meaning look at the problems in a holistic fashion. The curriculum that we have for both GMBA and MGBA is truly cutting edge. To us, the customers of the program are not you, the students, nor the parents. It is the companies that hire our graduates. So we need to understand what are the anxieties that they're facing, what are the skills that they're looking, in the graduates. So we did talk CXOs of all these companies and more, trying to find out what are the challenges and what is it they're looking for in our graduates. And the curriculum has been, designed by benchmarking with the best of the schools around the world, in Canada, in the US, in UK, Europe, India, and Singapore, and Australia. So we try to look at what is it that they do and what is it we can do better to make it absolutely future-proof for the students so that they can have a cutting edge. And me and my area heads have conducted a series of meetings across the campuses, and we try to continuously feel the pulse of the industry. And personally, I have had the opportunity to visit the thought leaders and the deans and the faculty of the top business schools and try to see what they're trying to do and see if we can do it better. Just for information, I have been invited to be a member of a panel of select deans last July. The objective of the deans invited to be on the panel was to observe how the Harvard faculty are teaching and give them feedback on how they can improve. Surprisingly, they do well, but there are also some areas for improvement. One very important thing that I should mention is, in addition to what we teach in the class, we do a lot of training to hone the soft skills. We have a very professional team, very qualified people, and we focus on getting every student professionally ready. It's called the Professional Readiness Program. We want them to think right. We want them to be able to critically, look at the problem and solve it. It's not enough if you have solved it, but you should be able to, participate in a group discussion, communicate as a team member, and also lead a team, work with them. So these soft skills, very important, and we consciously take ownership of every student. We do a series of workshops, assessments, and mock interviews, and see that the student really, moves from one point to another point, improving. Let me sum up the differences between the GMBA and MGB. GMBA, for the people with some experience, we are focusing on big bet decision, that is strategic thinking, cross-cutting, this is cross-functional decisions, and also on delegated decisions and how to delegate to the lower level. So the GMBA students are groomed to grab senior manager positions, which would eventually lead them to, C-suites. And for the MGB, we are looking at, lesser focus on strategy, a good emphasis on cross-functional thinking, but most importantly, being, action-oriented, implementing decisions, taking responsibility that is assigned to them. So they quickly get into a good executive position and eventually become middle managers. So to summarize, the skills are broadly indicated by these two pyramids. One is a normal pyramid, one is an inverted pyramid. And look at the inverted pyramid on the left side. It represents the skills that we try to impart for the GMB students. A big emphasis on conceptual and strategic skills. And in the case of MGB, heavy emphasis on technical skills by virtue of giving them more specializations. So these are the key attributes. They may look a little similar, but in the case of GMBA, we are focused more on critical thinking, while MGB is problem solving. For GMBA, we focus on leadership. How do you lead a team? How do you lead an organization? And for MGB, it's how do you collaborate and work in teams? So in the case of MGB, a 4-month internship is important. In the case of GMBA, internship is not needed for people who are having 3+ years experience. But for those that have 2 years experience, we prefer that they do an internship in order to be eligible for placement support. And of course, our corporate relations team will help you get the internship opportunity. You may ask, why do you want us to do an internship? Very simple. You will be able to grab positions with better salaries. Our benchmark salaries are pretty high. And once you do internship, you grow the confidence even further. And we believe that you will be able to perform and grab opportunities on par with the GMBA students. So broadly, this is what it is. In the case of GMBA, we have 5 specializations and we have 5 modules in each. There's total flexibility for the GMBA. They can take 5 into 5, you have 25 electives. They can either specialize in one area or take subjects from across areas. We find that the GMBA students have different aspirations, as a different different learning gaps. So we give total flexibility to, let them create their own learning experience. In the case of MGB, we have 4 specializations. We have 7 modules in each, but they're required to take 9. So they take all the 7 in a particular area. They can take 2 from any other areas. So we have total flexibility for GMBA and limited flexibility for MGB, which is also important. So these are some of the key differentiators once again. One thing I should mention, for GMBA, we have 2 live projects, industry projects, in term 2 and term 3. There would be consulting-like projects where, under the mentorship of faculty, they take on a corporate challenge and they make high-impact presentations and recommendations to the company at the end of the study. And in most cases, the companies do take the recommendations and actually implement them. In the case of MGB, we have a live project, corporate capstone project, only in term 3. We want them to get well grounded in the research methodology in the first 2 terms, and then we believe they're ready for industry project. So we sensitize the students on the business environment first and foremost, because you can control it. You have to only adapt. We introduce them to a whole lot of core subjects. We have increased the number of core subjects over the years because we believe it's a strong foundation that is necessary. Then we have the electives. And in the 4th phase, towards the last term, we have simulations and courses that would integrate all the concepts across the areas. We have a pedagogy called Student Boardroom. We simulate the real-world environment in the classroom. Whenever a case is given or a simulation is run, we form teams, and each team works and behaves like a board at a company level. So a CEO is appointed, and there is perhaps CXO, CMO, or CFO. They take decisions as though really solving the company's problems. And over the year, we rotate the team's membership, and different people get to be CEOs. So everybody gets the feeling of what it is like to be in a hot seat. We measure, monitor class participation, and after every simulation or case study, we would have an assignment or reflective paper. We would like all the students to reflect on what is it that they have learned and what is it that they take away. It's not just enough to discuss in the class and walk away, but it is important to reflect. What did I do right, or what did I do wrong? As I told you, we have industry projects, which gives an opportunity to test the concepts that you have learned in the real world. You get exposed to the business environment, be it in Singapore or Sydney or Dubai. How do the businesses operate? How do they differ? What's the local culture? I should mention, we also have global learning and student learning activities where students go out, immerse themselves in the local culture and local way of living, and they also visit businesses. Okay, to sum up, every student is encouraged to understand the context in which they are taking decisions, not to lose the values of the organization when they're working on a strategy, communicate in a manner that is fact-based and logically thought through, well-reasoned, and in a trustworthy, motivating manner. They should be able to make a presentation. They should bring in innovation and embrace technology. And whatever they suggest, it should result in transformation of be the process or the company, whatever it's doing. So In a nutshell, we teach the students on how to leverage big data and analytics. We also introduce them to the emerging platforms and how do you use them for disrupting services. We also hone an entrepreneurial mindset. How do you start a company? We have a subject wherein you would make a pitch, and actually some venture capitalists who would review your presentation and give you some constructive feedback, and some actually, even take it further to make their concept or a startup idea a reality. So, Sharon, that's broadly what I have to share.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Gandhi. I'm also going to add Mandar now to spotlight. Thank you so much, Dr. Gandhi, for the very insightful presentation. We learned a lot about the psyche and what students can expect in the GMB and the MGB course. We've had a whole lot of questions. Some of them have been patiently answered by Mandar. But I'd like to get some of them once again out through. We've got quite a few unanswered questions as well. A lot of them, for starters, talk about eligibility. So I'd like Mandar, if you can share some points around eligibility for candidates for the GMBA and the MGB respectively, including anything related to their undergrad scores and everything from the start.
Right. So thank you, Sharang. I would like to mention that we are primarily speaking about two programs. One is Master of Global Business, MGB, and the other program, which is Global MBA program. Now, the eligibility for MGB is, it says that 0 to 2 years of work experience a student needs to have post the graduation. Okay, so even if a student is a fresher or going to graduate in next few months, he can apply for MGB program. The typical average experience of MGB batches we have seen in the past, it is around 6 to 8 months. Sometimes it is around 1 year. That's how the MGB says. About the grades and academics, yes, we need to have a look at the holistic profile of a student right from the academics. We need a decent academics degree, which is from a legal, valid university in India or internationally. Regarding global MBA, yes, we need minimum 2 years of full-time work experience post the graduation. That's the eligibility. If a student has 2 to 3 years of work experience, between the range of 2 to 3 years, students are expected to do internship. And if students are more than 3 years of experience post the graduation, full-time work experience I'm referring to, students need not do internship necessarily. They can get direct placements support from the institute. That's how it is. So that's the eligibility. We see a holistic profile of a student, not judging student only on one parameter like say entrance exam score or academic or anything else. We see extracurricular activities. We see additional certifications done during the bachelor's or after the bachelor's. We also see the interview experience. We also see the leadership skills that the students have. So it's a holistic selection process. One student applies, the selection process starts, and we take step by step through the selection process to the students.
Sure. Thank you so much for that, Mandar. My next question, Dr. Gandhi, is about career opportunities post the MGB and the GMBA program. A lot Indian candidates want to pursue a career outside of India, predominantly in the Middle East, predominantly in Southeast Asia as well. Could you share, some of your experiences over the vast number of years you spent here at SP Jain about candidates who have come in from a background in India and then moved on to building careers outside of India, primarily Middle East or Southeast Asia?
Sure, I can speak, and then Mandar also can add. This is, a very fine opportunity for students from India by way of doing this global program, they can pursue, placement opportunities elsewhere. We have, alumni right now all around the world. Last month, I was teaching at our London campus. I was surprised there were as many as 100 alumni that showed up for a networking event. As we speak, the opportunities are very, very ripe and vibrant in Dubai, and Saudi Arabia is also opening up in a big way. They are planning to spend about $500 billion over the next 5 years to sort of reinvent the entire nation. And a lot of business schools, a lot of companies are planning to set up campuses there to harness the employment opportunity. And speaking about Far East, Singapore offers good opportunities. And having said that, there are a lot of companies that are moving away from Singapore because the cost of doing business and the overheads are very high. They're setting up offices in Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and these are all some of the fastest growing economies in the world. And they're also hiring a lot of people. Of course, Dubai and India continue to offer very, very attractive opportunities. We have a very strong corporate relations team, and they have a network, around these countries that I mentioned. And we have a pretty rigorous process of preparing the students, be it in a professional readiness program, preparing the CVs, or doing mock interviews. So they're really comfortable in sitting in the hot seat while interviewing. And when the chips were down, when the economy has been bad, that's when we have noticed that SP Jain has the best placement records. Because take, for example, 2008, 2009, when the global economy was going through its worst, that's when we had a fantastic record of placements. Why? Simple. The companies are trying to reinvent themselves. They're looking for graduates with a new set of skills. And we are aware that employability increases only when we have a cutting-edge curriculum. And we have been pretty successful. Sharon, by the way, you are aware that TEXA, the arm of Ministry of Education of Australian government, governs us. They have given us a 7-year time horizon for both of GMB and MGB curriculum. So what we launched in October 2020, in response to COVID, we could have gone on till 2027, but in October 23, 3 years after the initial launch, I have broken the curriculum before it is, broken by somebody else and reinvented. So we have absolutely a lean, mean, and a cutting-edge curriculum right now. Mandar, you may want to add anything else regarding placements and opportunities.
Just
Yes, Doc.
before that, Mandar, just before that, if you don't mind, I think one very important line about cutting edge curriculum makes you much more employable, which is absolutely true because with this whole professional readiness program that SP Gent and Dr. Gandhi just spoke about, I had gone through that and I was campus placed in Singapore at a company called Global Data, which helped me build my career before I moved back to India. So a lot of questions, Mandar, have come about in terms of numbers. If you can, try and share, some of the numbers. In some of the promotional material, we've mentioned that graduates from the MGB had about a 5x increase in their salaries, whereas the GMBA had a 7x increase in their salary, which is pre-MBA salaries to post-MBA salaries. If you can share some numbers, Mandar, that will be helpful.
Yes, so we have seen a 5-fold jump in the salaries of global MBA student. This is the data of 2023 I'm talking about. And we have seen 7-fold increase in the salary of master's program students. The highest for global MBA program was 72 lakh rupees, 2023. The average is more than 32. And the top 10% performance in the class, they get around 48 lakh rupees. That is the statistic of global MBA. For MGB, we have the highest salary, 2023 batch, 48 lakh rupees. Then the top 10% performers, they land up getting somewhere around 35 lakh rupees as an average salary. And the overall average for MGB, Master of Global Business, is 20 lakh rupees. That is what the statistic states. But then one disclaimer, students should not feel that they will come into the program and then get ready job offers. That's not a placement kind of a thing that we run. It's a business school. We transform fresh graduate or a little experienced students into corporate ready professional. Dr. Gandhi has told in detail that what is the professional readiness program, what is global learning, what do we do in the program. So student needs to maintain CGPA, student needs to maintain a good rapport with the corporate relationship department. Student needs to be doing a lot of networking with the alumni. We have 11 alum chapters across globe, more than 10,000 alumni spread across 35 countries. We have US alum chapter, we have UK alum chapter. Like Dr. Gandhi was mentioning that we have more than 100 alumni which are based in UK. Okay, I'll not shy away saying that we have not placed those 100 alumni in UK. But the global learning and the exposure that they received in the program, it has helped them reach to that level, right? So we work on the philosophy that if the businesses are going global, the education should also be global. Every student coming into our program, whether it is MGB or GMBA, necessarily would have to go for 2 cities or three cities exposure to give them the knowledge of a cultural nuances, the political nuances, and also the local businesses wherever they go. So that is what is the uniqueness of a program, I would say. And the transformation journey that they have in the program, I am sure that the student will fall in a best of the jobs at the end of the program. That's the outcome they expect.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Mandar. Basis what Dr. Gandhi said and what Mandar said, I've shared the website link to the career reports for the GMBA and the MGB in the chat box. So if anyone is looking for some more numbers, if they want to look at what kind of profiles have got what approximate salaries, you can go on the website and you can have a look at some of these numbers as well.
Sharang, if I may,
Please.
please, respond to a very good question that Ajit Shrikant has asked. And the question reads, Global MBA, what are the major verticals available in the program? How is it different from normal MBA, PGDM in India? And why does 2 years of experience matter? I think my response to this will help many people. There are 5 different specializations in GMBA: global finance, contemporary marketing and management, global logistics and supply chain management, technology management, and consulting management. And we offer 5 subjects in each area, a total of 25. And an MBA student can pick any 7. In the case of MGB, we offer 4 specializations: global finance, global marketing management, global logistics and supply chain management, and digital business management. We offer 7 electives in each of these. That's 4 into 7, 28. And MGB student needs to take 7 in any particular area and 2 from a different area. This is to hone their cross-functional thinking. The next part of the question is, how is it different from a normal MBA or PGDM in India? And there are multiple differences. One, most programs in India are 2-year programs, while the global MBA or MGB is much, much shorter. So it's an intense program, a rigorous program. It's literally a 2-year program packed into one. So you don't lose too much time. In fact, ROI will be higher because you're spending just 1 year. Second, the programs in India designed primarily with India as a focus, with Indian faculty and placement primarily in Indian companies. As my colleague Mandar mentioned, there is a premium for students with a global mindset. And in our program, we have global cities that you get immersed in. We have global case studies. They're taught by global faculty, and we enable global placements. And as Manda mentioned, as the world is getting global, the business is getting global, and there's a premium for a graduate who has a global mindset. They're able to get a better salary and move up faster. If I may mention, there's a GMBA graduate who has worked with the Deutsche Telekom in Mumbai before joining, and he was working in, I think in an IT area, perhaps coding. And after the MBA program, he got a job with same company, Deutsche Telekom, in Germany, in the area of product management, with nearly 7 to 8 times the salary. So, this is what it does in terms of, by opening up new vistas and opportunities.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Gandhi, for that. And I completely echo, this thought about what the MBA could do in terms of career growth and career opportunities. My next question,
And the
Mandar,
third part of the question, I'm sorry
Sure.
to interrupt.
Sure.
The third part of the question is, why does 2 years of experience matter for GMBA? Very simple. When you have worked, you can relate better with the case studies and the challenges that are being posed in the classroom, as against being totally a fresher. So that's the reason we would like to get all the students with some experience, significant experience together. So there is a lot of peer learning and better engagement with the faculty. Yeah, I'm done. Over to you, Sharon.
Yeah. Dr. Gandhi, just on that note itself, I'd like to, quickly ask you again, if a candidate is in their final year of undergraduate, a lot of times they are in the thought that should I pursue a MGB, a Masters of Global Business right now, right after I graduate, or should I try and get in 2 or 3 years of work experience before I pursue the MBA? What are some of your thoughts on what a candidate in that line should be considering?
I think I will let Mandar respond. He's very seasoned in responding to such questions.
Sure.
Thank you, Dr. Kranti. So, Sharon, it is subjective. Let me put it this way. Some students, they would like to have a continual education where they would not want to have any break or any, anything like that in their progression. Some students, they think that if they take a year or two of a work experience, that will help them in getting MBA program. In our case, what happens, Sharon, is both the degrees, whether it is Master of Global Business or it is Global MBA, both these degrees are master's degrees. So in India, typically we have seen a concept of PGDM, postgraduate diploma, which is to be done immediately after graduation. And after that, student takes couple of years of work experience and then they again apply for MBA, right? So that's the trend. So in our case, whether it is MGB or GMBA, both the degrees are master's degrees and they are level 9 of degree as per the Australian qualification framework. So I think this is subjective. Students can choose to go for a continual education, which is getting into MGB program straight after the graduation, or student can take 1 year or 2 years of experience and then apply for global MBA program. Subjective.
Certainly. Hope that answers your question as well. In the Q&A tab, there are a lot of questions that have come in, around 21 open questions, but I'm going to go on the most upvoted questions. So if you want a question to be asked, please have them upvoted. We have just about 10 minutes more. Dr. Gandhi, though I had blocked about 1 hour of your time, we might go about 10 minutes more. Do you think that should be fine with you, Dr. Gandhi?
Yeah, that should be fine, Sharon. And there is one very important question
Please,
if you permit, I would like to answer.
please.
This is a question from Dr. Ria Para. Not being from a commerce or business school background, what are the chances for me to get into a global MBA program? I would like to emphasize that one doesn't have to be necessarily doing a commerce program. We have quite a diverse, profiles of students. We have had the scuba diver. We have airline pilot. We have a doctor, a lawyer. We have a Bharatanatyam dancer, a seasoned professional. We have someone who was running a fitness regime. So diversity in the backgrounds in the classroom is very, very enriching, because there is no right or wrong solution to any business problem. It always helps to understand the other's perspective. In fact, I have to say that I have had quite a few doctors in my program, and they have gotten in successfully into hospital administration. MBBS with an MBA is a very powerful combination to head the administration of a health organization. I have also had some of them go into consulting companies in the health vertical, companies such as Frost and Sullivan and so on and so forth. And students with the law background, they have done the MBA and got into companies where where the focus is on R&D, protecting intellectual property rights, or entering into formal contracts with B2B customers or channel partners. So there's enough room for people with all kinds of background, but of course we would like them to meet our threshold standards.
Right. Thank you for that, Dr. Gandhi. Next question by Yogesh Mandar is around some of the key qualities or any specific skill sets which are considered for the admission process that can, provide an edge over the others. Any tips for a strong application? I know you mentioned about the holistic admission process. Would you like to also share some, quick tips and some quick points about entrance tests and just adding another of question from my end. If my undergraduate scores have not been good, how can I make up for that? Can't go back in time. So how can I make up my poor undergrad performance to actually grow into getting an opportunity to study at SB Jain?
Right. So, Sharang, the one very important thing which we see at the time of selection is that if the student is ready to take the rigor of a program or no. Like we are saying that this is 1 year of program. This is not 2 years of PGDM typical program to be done in India. This is 1 year program. The credit remains the same. Okay, so this program is basically an intense and a rigorous program where we need a student to spend at least 10 hours in a day for the studies. So that is a very important thing that we see while selecting a student. It is very, very transparent process what we select the students. Second thing, if a student is not good in academic, I'm sure he must have done something good in his undergraduate, right? So when I say that we see holistic profile, so I can give you some examples. Like we had student with an average, academic score, but he was a, state level sports player, cricket player. So we took it into consideration because he was good in sports. He was not good in academics. So that is fine, but one thing in our program is it is a rigorous program. It is fast paced program where it requires a flexibility, mobility and adaptability because it is 2 city or 3 city program, right? So these things we basically see in a student while we select. So not only judging student on the poor academic or average academic, we need decent academic, but then the selection process says that student should be ready to be, going through this kind of a rigor. That's my take on this. Yes, that's the tip.
Right. Thank you for that. One more question, Mandar by Janvi Yadav, is how is the roadmap for an MBA aspiring student different in terms of someone who's pursued a BBA or pursuing a BBA versus someone who's pursuing a BTech or any other engineering degree, Manda?
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to mention the class formation in SPGN is being given utmost attention and importance. Diversity in class has to be maintained in terms of undergraduate degrees, in terms of gender, and in terms of nationality as well. Okay. So we do not entertain many of engineers in the class. We make sure that the diversity in the class is maintained in terms of, like Dr. Gandhi was saying, a law student, a student from medicine background, students from hospitality, students from BBA, BMS, and also students from engineering. So my take on this is peer learning is very important. So they learn from the professors, of course, but they also learn from the other students in the class. So this we take utmost care while forming a cohort that the diversity should be maintained. Coming to the question, like what is the roadmap for BBA and MBA versus BTech and MBA? Choose your specialization wisely. Okay, that's my advice. If a student is from engineering background, generally we suggest student to go for supply chain management kind of a specialization. And if student is from BBA background who has done finance as a major in BBA or a marketing and major, it is subjective. We sit one-on-one with the students. We do a lot of profile evaluations. We understand the interest of a student, what student really like to do, what he or she sees himself or herself 5 years down the line, what they want to do in their career, and also the educational background. So if you permit me, I would like to put my email ID in the chat box so that students may share their resume or profiles with me and we can then connect one-on-one and we can have this counseling session. Is it allowed, Sharan?
Yes. Yes, for sure. In fact, I've already done that. If anyone has any individual profile related questions, any other questions after the session, because we've got only 5 minutes more, please, I've shared the email address. I'm going to share it. Mandar has shared it. 1 second. Let me just quickly reshare it because it was, yeah, I've shared it right now in the chat. Copy it, paste it in your notes, paste it somewhere else, and then write to Mandar with your profile. And if you have any questions for another call, another conversation, a lot of questions.
Sharon, if I may just add, it is not necessary, be it an MGB or a GMB applicant, to be very, very clear on what specialization and what path they wish to do or pursue. Once they join the program, they have multiple interactions with all the area heads. They get to understand from the academic managers. They interact with the faculty. They also have an interaction with the corporates and the alumni. And the GMBA students, all of them have a one-to-one counseling session with me. So we give them a good amount of time to be able to develop their own preferences and introspect and see where the passion lies, and make well-informed decisions as to which area of specialization they wish to pursue. Mandar, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say regarding return on investment, I'm seeing a lot of questions on ROI. See, return on investment is very subjective for students. I should say that. This is education. So let us not call it as a return on investment. Return on investment can be upskilling, return on investment can be anything, right? I would like to call this concept as a payback period rather than return on investment. I know what students are actually trying to ask. They're trying to ask that I am investing this kind of a money, when can I expect it back? So return on investment in our program is somewhere around 12 months to 26 months. That is what we have seen in last few batches, right? That's payback period that you can expect. I have already given a gist of what kind of a placements that we have in 2023, expecting the same placements in 2024 as well. So if you want to be a part of the success stories, do start your application today. Thank you.
I'd just like to quickly add on about return on investment as well. In my batch, there was a candidate, there was colleague of mine from Portugal. There was one candidate from Peru who's now working in Australia. A lot of people from the Middle East. And now when I run a company and we want to approach universities in Portugal, or to open an office in the Middle East or in different parts of the world, there is a large network that was made inside the MBA cohort as well. So maybe the return on investment in the short run is 12 to 26 months according to Mandar, but the long term return on investments could be multifold, and the extra money that you could make in terms of salary, because you can get introduced to an opening in a foreign country because of your MBA batchmate, or you can start a new office somewhere else, or there could be many different ways where you can calculate return on investment in the long run. So we should not only look at the 12 to 26 months on the payback period, but a return on investment in a slightly more larger context. Anything to add, Dr. Granthi, before we let you go?
You're absolutely right. I have had students, hell with the salary and return on investment. I want to work with a company and the kind of profile that I can do my best, and the results will follow. So my only suggestion is, don't chase money. Money will chase you. Chase your passion.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Great. All right.
I
So
would
I
like
think
to
we're
excuse myself, Sharon, if I can.
yes,
Yeah.
please. Just want to thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Gandhi. And we hope that a lot of students who join this session will be in your classroom sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Dr. Grandi.
Look
Thanks.
forward to. Thank you, Mandar.
Take
Thank
care.
you, Sharon. And once again, very proud to see you doing what you're doing, and wish you a great future ahead. Take care.
Thank you, Dr. Kath. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Just last few words, Mandar, for the 133 candidates that are still in this room. Anything you'd like to share? We've already shared your email address. For the 130 of you that are still here, if you have any questions about your profile, eligibility, careers, anything under the sun about SP Gen's, MGB, or the GMBA program, Mandar is the perfect person you can reach out to. And we'll hear from Mandar about his final thoughts.
Yes, the final thought is that there are a lot of opportunities. Opportunities are humongous. Like there's no end to opportunity. It is just that you need to leverage the global learning and a global exposure to grab these opportunities, whether it is in international market, whether it is in India. India is a next development story, my friends. So you want jobs internationally, that is perfectly all right. We have that. But if you are also looking for a great career in India, SPGN School of Global Management is a good choice. All right. So leverage global education for grabbing best of the career opportunities. That is my closing remark, Sharon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry to the 120 of you that are still here and 18 unanswered questions. Ishan just asked a question about the application process. We've shared that. All this information is on the website. You can log on to www.spgen.org and you can select the program. You will get information about when are the next, or when is the fee structure, scholarship opportunities, program start dates, everything under the sun is on the website. But if you have joined us late, I'm just going to quickly write Mandar's email address as well once again. And if you have any questions, you can write to him. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined us. Sorry, but we'll have to wrap this up because we've taken only 1 hour. We've already gone 11 minutes more than that. And if you are looking to connect, to have any questions about SPGen, I am an alumnus of the GMBA program as well. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Sharang Dhaimade of Seed Global Education. But Mandar will be the perfect person that you could reach out to as well. Thank you so much, Mandar. Thank you so much for the 125 of you that are still here. Wish you good rest of the evening and have a nice week ahead.
For giving us opportunity. Thank you so much, students. All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you and bye.
Bye.